Hello YouTube and welcome to my channel. Today we are gonna talk about Lucilla and what is her true value. We are gonna go over her best teams and see if she's an improvement, a side grade or even a downgrade, with numbers of course. If you enjoyed the video, remember to like and subscribe, it helps a lot. With this out of the way, let's just get started with her first team. The 𝗖ście𝗽𝗆𝗆 team, or well, the hiyuki team, since hiyuki is the only 𝗖ście𝗽𝗆𝗆 DPS in the entire game, and to be honest, is probably gonna be the only 𝗖ście𝗽𝗆𝗆𝗆 DPS we will ever get. I mean, remember that cantarella is still the only aero erosion DPS, and the 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗆𝗆 situation is a bit more complicated. Right now, people are running hiyuki together with 𝗖cie𝗽 and Lynae, and the 𝗖cie is non-negotiable. You cannot really replace her. Well, you can try with showkeeper or Mornie, but you are gonna get worse results. However, Lucilla is the character that is supposed to replace Lynae on this team, and if we take a look at the calculations, she is indeed an improvement. However, you are looking at just a 9% increase in the team's total damage, and to put this in perspective, hiyuki's signature weapon is a 14% damage increase, and the signature has no 50-50 attached to it. You are guaranteed to get it. That said, Lynae is one of the most contested characters in the entire game. She is wanted by 𝗖𝗿𝗵𝗁, who I guess almost everyone pulled for. She is wanted by Luke, who I guess he's way less popular, however he is still an insane character for Tower of Adversity. And she is also wanted by many pre-Lahairoi teams like Carlotta. So Lucilla freeing that spot is not something that you can calculate purely in numbers, and for the metrics endgame mode, the more resonators the better. And it's not like Lucilla is a bad character, it's simply that Lynae is just that broken, and she also kind of cheats. She was able to breach the gap thanks to buffing 𝗖𝗽's personal damage. Lucilla does not really have general buffs, the only thing close to that is 𝗖ście𝗽𝗆𝗆𝗆, but 𝗖𝗽 is not 𝗖ście, so yeah, it is what it is. Moving to the second team, we have the sigrika echo team. The current best way to play sigrika is with Qiuyuan and the showkeeper, or with 𝗖𝗆una, depending on your preference, and I have to confess, I initially believed there was no competition. Who can blame me? At the end of the day, sigrika and Qiuyuan were designed around working with each other. Even if Lucilla were to match Qiuyuan in terms of buffs, sigrika herself is also buffing aero damage for the entire team, helping Qiuyuan with his personal damage, and you also have 𝗖𝗆una on the 𝗖𝗆una variant with her own aero buffs. However, I was shocked to find out that Lucilla was actually better. Yes, Qiuyuan buffs sigrika slightly more, but Lucilla's personal damage is way higher, and she beats both variants of the sigrika Qiuyuan team. The difference is very small, yes, but there should be no difference, or well, it should be the other way around. Qiuyuan should be better than Lucilla. This is his best team. What exactly is going on? And it doesn't stop. The third best team for Lucilla is the galbrena echo team. Again, people were using Qiuyuan for this team. There is also the monofusion variant with Lupa, but that version was already weaker than the Qiuyuan version to begin with, so I did not include it. I am also not a personal fan of it. I only really used it for Tower of Adversity in some situations, only because I myself do not have Qiuyuan, so yeah. And there is an interesting thing going on here. Galbrena deals 60% of her entire DPS as echo skill, while in sigrika's case, she is dealing 90% of her damage as echo. And this ends up helping Qiuyuan actually. He has more general buffs in his kit. He has a crit damage steroid, I think tied to his liberation. And I did not mention before, but Qiuyuan is on Moonlight Cloud set, which gives better buffs than Lucilla. Lucilla is on 3-piece prolova echo set, and the 2-piece spliced memories with void mode as the main echo, which increases the attack percent of galbrena, but like what, 12-15%? I will have to double check the amount, but point is, it is way worse than Moonlight Cloud, and this allows him to go toe-to-toe with Lucilla. In this case, the difference is barely perceptible. You'll never be able to notice it in practice. For the fourth team, we have the prolova variant, and there are like 9 prolova variants out there with Russia, with cantarella, with shorekeeper. So I just took the most common one. I can't be bothered to just calculate 10 teams at the same time. And finally, we have a Qiuyuan W. This is literally the best possible scenario for him. Cantarella and prolova both are dealing echo skill damage. So in this case, Qiuyuan can use the law of harmony, the set that, you know, was actually intended for him, and Qiuyuan's own damage is buffed slightly by Prolova's outro. She buffs heavy damage together with Havoc, which is not really important, but the heavy damage part is, it matters for Qiuyuan. And Lucilla can also be buffed by Cantarella. Technically, Cantarella buffs basic attack damage. However, you want Prolova to come after Cantarella, so you can't really do that without sacrificing a good chunk of the team's DPS. As for the F2P Lucilla team, well, there is no such thing. Lucilla is not F2P friendly at all. The characters that deal echo skill damage are all premium. I already went over all of them. And she buffs 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗵𝗁, which that's only hiyuki at the moment. And the only general buff that Lucilla has in her entire kit is a 8% glacial resistance shred. This only helps Carrota and he who must not be named, besides hiyuki of course. And Carrota already has a Z and Lynae. I'm guessing people at this point must have one of the two. And if you get very desperate, you can use Taoki with her, while the other one has access to Sanhua. It's Sanhua, you know, especially sequence 6 Sanhua that also buffs attack percent. Lucilla simply gives too little to be viable on F2P teams. And now, at first glance, she doesn't look too hot. Ugh, goddamn, the editor is surely gonna put now the cut with Lucilla's goddamn dress, saying, what do you mean by not too hot? You know what I mean, you know what I want to say. Lucilla is a deceptive character. She's a slight improvement over Lynae on the hiyuki team and a side grade for Qiuyuan on the echo team. And this might seem like a very small thing, like she is a skip character, but you need to look in perspective. The sigrika and hiyuki teams are 2 of the 3 best teams in the entire game, with the third one being the Fusion Burst 𝗖cie𝗽𝗆𝗵𝗁 team, because all 3 of them are insane in all endgame modes, Tower of Adversity and Wuthering Waves. And Wuthering Waves especially is a concern for many right now, and these 2 teams simply crush it. 9% damage for the hiyuki team is like what? 40% damage for teams like Augusta or Carrota, well, more in Carrota's case, less in Augusta's case, you get the idea. So realistically, Lucilla is doing a very good job in improving the ceiling of your best teams. And rather than looking at Lucilla as a side grade for Qiuyuan, it is actually the other way around. I mean, why would you ever pull for Qiuyuan now that Lucilla is here? It does not really make any sense, right? She does his job just as well, and she also has a part-time job as a support for hiyuki. If you already have Qiuyuan, you could still pull for Lucilla for hiyuki. And if you don't have Qiuyuan, then Lucilla will allow you to properly use your sigrika and galbrena, while at the same time buffing hiyuki, which Qiuyuan cannot do. He doesn't really have any other usage other than the echo team. So realistically, you can look at Lucilla like a Qiuyuan Pro Max. Now, if you have both Qiuyuan and Lynae, and you don't really use Lynae on any other team, like you don't have 𝗖𝗍𝗵𝗁 for her team, or you don't have Luke or stuff like that, then yes, Lucilla will most likely be a skip for you, especially with the collab here. But for other people like me, who don't have Qiuyuan, who don't plan to pull for Qiuyuan, and who are looking for an alternative for a long time, Lucilla is just the answer, and she also comes as a bonus with hiyuki. What could be better than this?